Hi, today we'll be going over the contract. This will be part one of two of the contract that we'll be going over with you. And I'll be going over the most important parts of the contract, the main things of the contract that I think that tenants usually have the most questions about. So then I will go ahead and be summarizing that for you today. The first part of this is going to be the date in which the contract is signed. This right here is where the landlord's name, and this right here will be your name, the tenant. Okay? This will be the address of the property. And this right here is going to be where we put the term of the lease, how long the lease is going to be for. This is the amount of rent that is due every month, and the rent is due on the first day of every month. And this right here is going to be the damage deposit that is due. The damage deposit is going to be held and given back to you within 30 days of you moving out. And this basically explains that only you and I have a contract for this property, for this premises that you're staying at. So this will help resolve any issues later on should we have another person living at the property or the premises really without my written consent. So that basically is going to be help to determine any conflicts later on. All right, moving on. This right here is basically explaining that there is to be no satellite or no dish TV installed at the property. Every single room at the premises is going to be hooked up and wired for cable TV, for example, Comcast. All right. Without my written consent, there is to be no satellite or no dish installed at the property, and in doing so there is going to be a penalty fee of 1 month's rent. Okay, and there's also to be no TVs mounted to any of the walls. All right, and down here it explains that you are allowed to, if you want, of course, in the warm seasons, to go ahead and grill in your backyard or at the property. The only thing is that under the insurance guidelines that the insurance company has laid out for me, there needs to be a distance of 10 feet or greater from the property if there is to be grilling or barbecuing at the property. So basically, you think of the deck as part of the property. That's what the insurance company states, that it needs to be 10 feet away from that. So 10 feet away from the property or any of the structures in the property. The deck, of course, being part of the property. So it needs to be 10 feet away if you are going to grill. And if I do catch you grilling right next to a property, there will be a $100 fine, because if there is anything that happens, the insurance company will not pay for anything. And this part right down here explains all the general rules and guidelines that you should be following. I'll go ahead and let you look through that, but they're basically common sense things that you should be doing every day anyway. Things such as do not obstruct the windows or doors. Let me see here. I think there's something down here, right here, about no smoking in the house. Do not leave the windows or doors in the open position during inclement weather. All right, and there is to be no disposing or littering of cigarette butts on the premises. So if I do catch you doing that, there will be a $50 fine per offense. Okay. And this part right here explains that in the event that the property, you actually have to cut your grass, and you have to mow your grass by yourself. Some of the tenants at some of my properties do not wish to do so. So what they do is they actually contract somebody out to do so for them, so they don't have to worry about that. So this right here will have the pricing for that. If we decide that that's what we're going to do, you let me know. I will let you know if the house already has that in place, what the cost is per month, so then you don't have to worry about cutting the grass on your own. Okay, and this part down here goes on to tell you about that there is no parking on the grass on the property. Now, of course, this sounds, pretty intuitive, but, we do have tenants that do try to do so. Some of the properties it is harder to do so. So, of course, you have to, hop the curb and then park in the grass. So that's kind of, obvious, but at some of the other properties it's not so obvious, and they do tend to try to park in the grass, and that's not allowed. So just please don't do that. If you do, there will be a $50 fine per offense if you do park on the grass at the properties. Okay, let's explain a little bit about the service calls. Now, every single appliance and things like that at the house, I don't expect to last forever, because of course, over the years, wear and tear, it will break down. So in the event that there is something that an issue that needs maintenance work, you go ahead and let me know, and if it is indeed wear and tear, there will be no charge for it. The only thing is that if there is something that is deemed to be either your fault or if it's negligence, then of course I will have to charge you for. And the service fee for that, if it is your fault or negligence, it will be a $20 service fee for that. And of course, it could be more. It can increase depending on if there is a lot of time involved or if there are parts involved that needs to be purchased for the repair. But again, if it is something that is normal wear and tear, I will not charge you for that. I'll go ahead and send over a maintenance person to take care of the issue. However, my maintenance person will not be taking care of daily stuff that you need to be doing, such as changing the light bulb or things like that. That is not the responsibility of my maintenance person. So then, of course, I will have to charge you for doing so. Okay, this part right down here basically explains that once a month I will be entering your premises to change your air filters for you. I will always give you 24-hour notice before I enter your property. Okay, but just keep in mind that I will be doing so about once a month.